Okay, so I online, I'm going to open the chat. Okay, I'm just asking, am I audible and visible? Send me a hi if you're watching, if you're online. Super. Okay, cool. I'm going to be showing my, I'll put on mute and I'll start sharing my presentation. That way we can start today's episode. All righty. Super. Give me a thumbs up if the screen is visible and you're able to see the full presentation. Okay, cool. So welcome to day 7, and we are talking about resilience in leadership for busy moms at family and at work. So we are natural leaders as soon as we become parent, right? As soon as we become a household owner. So stay-at-home moms or equally bosses, and they are the first bosses. And then when they go out is when they become a second boss. So on that note, how can resilient leadership can help you navigate challenging moments, crisis, adversities at home and work? We have been discussing about how to unlock your EQ brain skills, both your left brain and right brain skills, which helps you open up emotional intelligence in you for 100 continuous days. I know it's quite a feat. I request your support, request your wishes, and at the same time, it is also important to bring about this awareness to many people out there. And that is essentially why I thought I'll put it in YouTube Live directly. And of course, there are some bonuses and gifts for those people who diligently watch this video and take notes and share their comments, and give me constantly giving me the love and support. For those people, I will attach links where this entire 100 days, whatever topics, whatever skill set we are talking, there will be a quiz format for increasing your awareness. And as well as all these videos will be clubbed and bundled like a course where you can watch it for lifetime. The access will be given to you lifetime, and it will be shared in a community format, exclusively built for women like you and me. So videos, these videos that we are interacting may be taken down after some time because it is going live and there are a lot of things that we may discuss. We would like to have it in a safer community as well. So I'm just working on the logistics, and either ways, whether it is going to be available in YouTube, podcast, I'm also doing an article of this in a medium called Substack. And there is also Medium blogs available on EQ, and Instagram Reels are coming out. So everything is available for you to increase your awareness on emotional intelligence. And this is also a community support that I would like to give you so that you're inside a safer community where you can participate in many programs and start watching people around you. This goes to, I'm catering to moms, Indian moms, specifically across India, USA, Canada, Mexico for now. So you will have a chance to network with them, and I'm trying to arrange the logistics so that it doesn't become chaotic and it doesn't become a market place. It is a very pure um, space, and it's very conducive for learning and interacting, networking, and growing. So, on that note, if you're watching for the first time, I would warmly welcome and highly recommend you to go through the previous episodes. And we are on day 7. We have been talking about key skills on emotional intelligence. We initially started with resilience, and we also touched upon adaptability, and flexibility. And yesterday, we saw about emotional insight, and day before yesterday, we dwelt more on resilience. And today, we are talking about a version of resilience in your leadership style. Okay, so let's get into today's topic. And the objective is to build strength, to stay calm, and under pressure, you're not chaotic, but you gain that composure and balance family needs and work challenges, inspiring the trust and confidence and freedom in family and colleagues around you. That is the leadership style that we want to bring it. Defining leadership resilience. In this particular series, why the name why I kept it as EQ brain skills is because emotional intelligence is measured and it becomes EQ. When you measure your emotional intelligence, it's called emotional quotient. And when you measure your intelligence in terms of academic, intellectual capacity, it becomes intelligent quotient. So that itself is an ocean. And it is also very related to the brain activities, the brain skills, the talents that we have as a person. We are born with certain talents and we develop certain skills, learned, learned skills. So either which ways, our brain enables us to um, display certain approach, certain behavior in us, right? You will see naturally a person is inclined in creativity. Naturally, a person is inclined calm and composed. So uh, yesterday when we were talking about emotional insight, it's quite natural for a lot of people. It is in us actually, and we have seen a lot of examples around us itself. Our own moms, our own dads would have displayed, our own teachers, friends, elders around us, neighbors, or any successful leader, industries leaders, or boss we have worked with, or our team members. Exclusively, they may be really talented at certain things. So they all can be taken as a real-time examples. However, we didn't give the name to it, neither we proposed or we kind of strengthened it. We were not aware that it is helping us. These are the top talents that we have. None of these were taught at school. That is the, you know, most unfortunate thing. As much as we were so very clear about how tall a tree is, and what happens when the tree shadow falls, and what is the measure of the shadow, all these were not used for any part of our life. After that, a particular period of time that we studied and wrote exams for, what was it all used for? Instead, these are life skills. These are most demanded skills at this point of time, especially because world is churning differently into AI driven industries now. Now people are losing jobs. There's a lack of human connections. Uh, Everybody is going through changes, especially after pandemic. There's a lot more pandemic lined up. So we are gearing up to a different world. As much as there is advanced opportunities, there's also a lot of things that we have to take care so that we don't get succumbed. And one of the important things that we have to remember is to develop emotional intelligence, because that's what is going to help us during adversities, crisis, and how quickly we are able to adapt and bounce back, how resilient we are to face this kind of chaos around us. It is despite irrespective of any gender, any location you are in, any religion, in fact, irrespective of age also. Even a school going kid needs to be taught about resilience, needs to be taught about how emotional insights, emotional awareness, emotionally being literate. It is all the more important to know their feelings and be able to express it really well. That is the basic steps we should have been taught about. But ironically, we were all taught to leave our emotions at the doorstep and then enter, especially as a woman, right? When we get married, this is the um, wisdom school of thoughts we were brought up, right? And men are not even supposed to emote. So, but they had their own advantage at those time, and that is when they had created resilience in their flavor. They were resilient in their own style, but it helped them during that time. Is it going to help us? Is it going to help them at this point of time? No, I don't think, because there's a lot of cases happening, especially when the mental health is lined up as a pandemic next. It's around there. It's right there on the corner. It cannot be ignored. It is a bigger elephant that cannot be unseen, or you cannot ignore, basically. And 40 years and above is the age bracket is succumb and vulnerable, especially women in the mid age is the highest lot who are succumb to depression. With that note, I just cannot insist the importance of building resilience in you, especially as a woman, as a mother, as a busy mom, juggling with multiple roles. I have more compassionate towards mothers like me, because I've been through it. I've been through burnout twice, and it it took a lot of toll on me, and it is not easy to bounce back, right? On that note, how are we going to define leadership? So we're going to see both the left brain and right brain, how it is functioning here at this particular skill. So for you to remain calm, you're going to be using this resilience because it allows you to remain composed in high pressure situations. Then being adaptable, adjusting to strategies to meet changing circumstances, and then becoming strong, maintaining focus and determining during crisis. So you're going to remember these three. When we are talking about resilience as a leadership style, the ability that we are going to develop is to, the outcome that is going to come is to become calm and composed, be able to adapt, and becoming strong. No matter what, how chaotic is outside, how storm situations are outside, you are strong within you. You are becoming bigger than your challenge. That is the aim. Yeah, on that note, no, whichever project you are given to, whether it is handling your people at home or outside, in fact, handling people in your family is all the more difficult when you go outside to handle. A lot of people, touch your heart and say, how many of you are women out here who's watching this video? How many of you are working and juggling your family? Those people will vouch for it that it is all the more easier to make other people work, especially outside the family. Because inside the family, there's going to be privilege, there's going to be a comfort zone that we are operating. It's going to be a lot of stubbornness. You need to literally shake people, right? In the heat of the run, we might lose our control, we might lose our identity, and not two fingers are same. So it's like having a family like five fingers, and five fingers are dynamic and so versatile in their choices, right from food, right from clothes, right from approach, personality. Everything is so dynamic, and you just cannot escape from this one responsibility. You might find a difficult team member to manage. You can even change your job just in case, or change that member, or change the team. At the worst, you can even change your job. That is possible, but you cannot change your family members, right? In fact, outside it is so very organized, it is structured, and they all everybody in the organization that you are working with, everybody has to go by rules, right? There's a policy, there is a norm that we all have to follow. But inside family, we don't have that. And that is the whole difference. And that's where the freedom also lies. But how much are we responsible towards that freedom is what is going to establish. And how are we driving our values? Even as a leader, it's a key element that a leader has to be authentic and value driven. Only then it is demonstrated, it is expressed, and then it lands in correctly to the other person. When a person is authentic, you as a leader, you're becoming authentic, and you are value driven every day and every moment, no matter whether it's family or outside. Situations are same. Am I relatable? Have you experienced this? If yes, Give me a thumbs up in this comment box and tell me you can relate it. Say, I can relate. Okay. The importance of leadership resilience. Now, without that, what happens? Leaders may feel overwhelmed, making poor decisions and lose team trust. This is about a leader having the resilience. You, as a leader at home, you're a mother, you are responsible for the family, breeding family, giving them meals or taking care of their home, sometimes expenses, sometimes organizing, sometimes structuring, sometimes bringing up children. That it's a huge role, right? It's a natural thing. It's a gift that we are given. So without resilience, what happens is you're taken in for a ride. You get overwhelmed, and it is going to make you more less energetic. Um, you don't have enough nutrition, enough energy for you to function optimally. So your decision making is going to be poor. You will not be able to critically think. The reason is thereby you're going to lose trust, or people are not going to take you seriously, right? Whenever it's a high stake jobs, especially where you need to be on the front to run the show or meet your clients and be on the phase of your team and organization, it is equally important that you're taking care of yourself really well. It has to come out. And with resilience, what happens is leaders can inspire confidence. The way a leader walks, when I say leader, it can be a team leader, it can be anybody who's leading one or two people, it can be a team manager or a boss of an organization, or it can be an individual contributor. The way they walk inside the room, the way they open the door, the way they wear their tie, or the way they wear their sari, the way they conduct themselves, the way they speak, the way their disposition is, everything suggests something. And how does it happen? It's because they care for themselves. They have some values within them. They don't want to be late to office. They don't want to be told to do anything where they can do it naturally. They don't want to be identified with some flaws. Instead, they want to correct themselves even before it is, jeopardizing the teams. So the way they conduct themselves is totally different. So they're going to guide teams with through the uncertainty and maintain clarity. That ability, where is that power comes from? If only they are resilient inside. What do you mean by resilient? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They have to take care of their life. It is not like very successful leader at office, and then when they reach home, they are so ruined. They are not at peace. They constantly have problems at home. So they find a escape mechanism and they jump onto office, and then they are totally a different person there. How far can it go? Maybe it is possible. It may be possible with self-control. Maybe that person is really disciplined. They know their value systems. Maybe they have found coping mechanisms in terms of just being distant from the chaotic situations or people, negative people. But how far can they travel? Somewhere it will definitely manifest. It will hit on their face. Somewhere life will knock them down. That time it will be huge. So it is very, very important. I always give this metaphor like a five-legged chair. We all know four-legged, and I'm also including not just physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, but also including financial. Financially resilient also. If you have met up with some adversities, crisis in finance, how are you able to bounce back financially? There are leaders who do this, right? E- Examples are so many in this industry. People start in their garage with bare minimum resources and they become super power heroes, stars, rock stars in the industries. Very resilient. They started with minimum and they are with that minimum resources, with that minimum, doing more of less, having less. So that all comes when you have some, it is not a superhuman skill. It is only when you have certain uh, key skills being worked on every day in and day out. There is a constant self work happening. So they just cannot depend on the job. They just cannot use the coping mechanism of either going on a job or being distant, or being at home comfortably because they are not disturbed. Nobody wants to ask any questions to them. No, they are not basically disturbed at home. So any which ways it is going to, the life will knock them down. So it's like four-legged or five-legged chair. Okay, in our case, we'll always take five-legged chair. So if you knock out one leg, what happens is it will fall down. Similarly, you need to take care of all these dimensions parallelly every day. If you're not healthy and fit, if you have a slight headache, the entire day is ruined. If you have a tiff with your spouse, whether you accept or not, whether you like it or not, it is going to manifest in other works, other dimension. It is the same way when your child is sick, you're not mentally peace, right? You're clouded. And when you are overwhelmed, when you do not know what is actually happening in you, you are mixed, you have so many mixed emotions happening. You like it, but you still have to do it, but you carry a regret. All these residues will emotionally disturb you. And if you leave it unaddressed, unattended, it will lead you to exhaustion, burnout, and depression. Okay? That is why this series to help you bring that necessary awareness. Some statistics impact for you. When it comes to employee engagement during crisis, resilient leaders are 75% more likely to see increased employee engagement. They are the forerunners. They are the ones you will naturally see some people during tsunami in India around 2003 or something. So that was the first time, at least we are, people out here who are born in 70s, 80s, 90s. That's the first shock. That's the first climatic shock that we all had seen visibly. And when that happened, we don't know from where that quality in us came to help, to volunteer. And in my eyes, I had seen so many people coming across. In fact, we were staying in a community and then we all gathered. I was very small. I think I was in college or something. And I was pretty young to understand the impact of tsunami. But then when we were on the grounds to help people, we literally saw dead bodies. And, it was pathetic. It, it didn't impact me so if I had been not in that field to work. But when I was out there, I could see a lot of people coming out, irrespective of any age, as long as they have hands and legs, they offered help. And how does it happen? And people, especially the people who went through these kind of impact, right? We went and, gave food and we wanted to check on their relief measures right after 1 year after that incident, after that traumatic event. And you should be able to see those people bouncing back even with the meager resources. Their faith in life, their resilience was the first thing that came across. I did not know, I didn't know that this word was even existing, but some spark in their eyes, uh, young young ones or the older ones, they fought, they fought back. I'm talking about those people who lived on the shore, right? uh, we were back in city, so we didn't have this impact. But of course, our water came in a few of our places, and then it was a shock for us, and it was a one of an event. But the people who went through that impact and the way they bounced back, because they have to survive, they have to live. So essentially, they need to breathe air and they eat. They need to eat, so they bounce back, right? That is the first witness of resilience. And when I saw people working and working through nights in that catastrophic place without being selfless, basically, that that really hit me hard. And that is when I understood that there is something beyond uh, usual life. And when such adversity happens, always something in us come out. That is why I say EQ is right there in us, all of us. There's the wisdom in us. We just have to awaken that. And it is by principle. Um, these are principles of EQ. It is like, it is not one way or highway or my way. It is no way, or it is it is everyone's way, right? So similarly, EQ is not a skyrocket. It's not a skyrocket science where you need to do a research to understand. You just have to connect the dots. And the series that we are doing is going to give you about 30-40 skills easily in 100 days that we are covering. Some, for example, this resilience itself, we have been talking for 3-4 days in different dimensions of resilience. Where else can you apply? How else can you become resilient, right? Who are those people who needs this? Where can you see this resilience happening in life around us? So we might be dwelling on each skill in different dimensions. However, definitely 30-40 skills of emotional intelligence as a brain talents. You will find a lot of topics like this by the time you finish this 100 days. Even if you're not able to come on live and watch this every day, but at least you will have the abundance of videos. It is also coming to you as a podcast. You can hear it out on the fly. It will only help you grow, and it will enhance you and strengthen whatever you already have. If you are not sure that, let's say we are talking about resilience leadership. Suppose you have a doubt. After going through this, you might want to discover more of your style. So there is an awareness quiz bundles given. That is the reason why I have compiled all these topics related quizzes for you to increase your awareness, not just by learning. You might want to do a self discovery, ask yourself some questions to understand, have you understood this concept correctly or not? Or do I really have it as a talent? If not, you be honest, because it'll give you the scores and it'll be personalized. It'll only be sent to your email ID. It'll not be even disclosed to me. So you can watch that and watch this video to understand where are the missing gaps. Or you can message me straight and I'll be able to give you some extra coaching tips on that. Okay. With that being said, team loyalty. Resilient leadership also cultivates stronger team loyalty when facing adversity. That is where the trust and bond really happens. During adversity is where the real gems come out of us. Productivity. Resilient leaders help team members' productivity even in difficult times. Profitability. And what happens to the profitability thing? Resilient leadership can contribute to improved business performance and increase profitability during challenging periods. Wonderful. So, what is the advantage of having leadership resilience? It's going to inspire trust. It's going to build confidence through calm decision making. Boost morale, maintains the motivation. And during those challenging times, it is important to maintain that morale. You don't go off guard. You don't lose your control. You don't let out words, right? When people are suffering, when there is a crisis, when there is an adversity, especially when the project is getting tough, or you've lost a project, or you're on the verge of losing a project, people are in jeopardized situation. So it is all the more important to, every word is important. So that is where that leadership natural style will come out of that person. You will exactly find out who talks what. You will clearly understand what kind of personality are there only during adversities. This happens to, whether it is inside the office, or your high stake projects that you are leading in any industry, or as an entrepreneur, or within family also. Only during adversities, all the truth or the darker side will come out of that person. It is very important that you should have been working on it. Some of us are naturally resilient. When there is an adversity, when there is a tough situation going on, let's say, one of your friends are um, sad and stressed out and anxious about something, maybe something happened to them in their life, and you will exactly see different people approach differently. inside your own groups, right? Where is all that coming from? So people, most of them do not know how to react, because of which they lose out words. They use their words as coping mechanism, but it goes wrong. What they need is active listening. What you need is empathy there. You don't need facts and figures there. That is where your right brain skills comes into, picture. That is where all these emotional skills has to come out to play. But unfortunately, we're not being taught about it. We're not touched on that subject during our childhood days. So none of us were wrong. We've not been exposed to that. But some of us have that innate in us. We exactly know whether we should speak there. At that point of time, is it necessary to speak out that way? When you want to test your emotional intelligence, there are three questions that you can ask. Ask yourself during that adversity or during any conversations. Is it necessary for you to speak? Okay. Is it necessary for you to speak about that at that point of time? Right? Is it necessary for you to speak at all? Many times, the situation by itself will get resolved. Many times, if you are observant, a lot of other people, there'll be dumb people around you. They will eventually speak about it and then get you the clarification, necessary clarification, even before you want to utter anything. If only you have that pause in you, you have that, calm and composure in you, that you can really, be an observant. That is exactly how all this, before you arrive at being resilient in your roles, there are different elements that you would have walked across. Okay. Some of us have it innate, some of us, it can be a learned skill. Okay. Don't worry. I will be sharing with you some gifts. If you stay till the end of this episode, I will exactly tell you how you can practice resilience and how you can become a resilient leader. All right. So it is also encouraging innovation, no doubt about it. A classic example is Steve Jobs. He is a classic example, I would say, for a lot of emotional intelligence skills. Other than innovation, we think it is more of an IQ related, but I must tell you, it has both the blend of right brain and left brain. Without creativity, without innovation, without risk taking, without being risk tolerant, without being endurant enough, without having the perseverance, without having resilience of the ability to bounce back, all these are right brain skills. What, no matter how nerd you are, how intelligent you are, how have your IQ could be just about the par. But if you do not have this balance of right brain skills working for you, you will not be a leader. That is not possible. You may still be, an expert in your own sphere, but in order to lead people, in order to become a successful leader or influencer, you need to have this left brain and right brain working beautifully blending. Okay. All right. So if you're watching it live, just give me a comment, give me a thumbs up. I'll be more than happy to know that if you're watching, because I won't know who is online with me. If you're with me till now, if you can relate left brain and right brain skills importance, give me a heart simple saying left brain and right brain. I will know that you're watching and also you are with me. Okay, that is even more important. The reason why I'm saying we need to have um, all the time become, at least during these sessions and even after this 100 days, it is important to bring that awareness whenever you're operating in tough situations. When you want to apply the skills, become aware whether you're using the left brain skills or right brain skills. Okay. On that note, that will be a success for me. If that means you've taken these learnings very seriously and you're applying on it. Okay. What is a disadvantage? If you want to look at the disadvantage, what happens when you don't have the skill? So disadvantage could be emotional fatigue. Sometimes you are, you being a resilient leader, you being a leader when people want to model you, look at you, They constantly observe you, right? And if you don't take care of yourself, if you have not set your boundaries, you may think that you are welcoming everybody into your room anytime the door is open and all that, policy. And then you don't have time to even breathe. You've not taken your lunch. You don't have nutrition. You don't have that energy in you. You're very tired by yourself. All these speaks about you, right? So your decision making is not going to be up to the mark. You will not have that. Um, your brain cannot function optimally at all. So it is important that leaders also need breaks, mindfulness, and support to avoid that emotional exhaustion, maintain effectiveness. Who said leaders are not dependent? They just cannot be independent all the time. It is invaluable asset if they are intrinsically motivated and they're very independent. Intrinsically, motivation can happen, but we all definitely need that external motivation. Even a leader needs that appreciation from his boss or her boss. Am I right? Even a leader needs that salary, that monetary appreciation for to make them feel valued, to make them feel celebrating. It is important that external motivation also is something that a leader has to make sure that it is not something all the time selfless and all that. Of course, the only selfless leadership can happen is at home. There is no negotiation on that. Even for us as a home leader, it is important that we need to be heard and seen. If you can bring this value system at home, that you also need your break time, you also need that me time, or you also need that credit. Sometimes you need to be also appreciated, not necessarily for the work, but at least for the results that you are getting. So that gratefulness has to be developed. That uh, that integrity should be developed in each member in the family. That they have to be fair. If someone's, it could be a child bringing a brilliant decision, a brilliant choice about, or brilliant opinion about something. We might, so many times we often ignore that fact that they are not up to the age to even discuss on this. But then if you just have this open culture, open dialogue culture at home, you will see what kind of brilliance the children can bring in. And if they are right, please put your foot down to appreciate then and there. Hey, you know what? I never thought of this angle. Thank you for telling me. Immediately you will see there is some delight, there is some spark in that child. Oh, okay. You're indirectly building their confidence. And they will give it to you more and more. And immediately there is a trust and bond. There is some deep connection is already created. They will exactly know when you have some problem and they will be the first person to adjust and say, Mama, you can go for work, I'll manage it. These words will come out. I'm sure there are a lot of children there are a lot of moms like this would have experienced. If yes, give me the smiley symbol. If you have a child at home like this, or if you have a family member who says, you know what, you go ahead, I'll take care of the cooking, I'll support. If you have such one person at home like that, just grab them, because we are in the dearth, we are living in the world of fast paced and dearth of human connections and understanding. If you just have one person who can listen to you or who can support you, just grab them. All right. The point here is you cannot, the point here, the key learning here is to set boundaries very clearly, set your expectations so that the other person also knows that it is equally important. Your time is important for you. And the pressure to be strong, to appear strong, can lead to false sense of invulnerability. Leaders must be authentic to create a safe space for their team. That's exactly what we discussed in the beginning. You being thinking that you can overly do a lot of things, you're taking care of your physical, mental, emotional, and all that for others, and you're not doing it for yourself, it is only going to fake near other. Because anyway, when situation occurs, maybe, if you're falling sick, everything will crumble down. Sometimes even there were situations where the leaders fallen sick for continuous period, the entire project was lost, and the position for him, a critical position for him itself, him or her itself, has become a question there. So after that, it became a joke, right? So instead of putting up a show, be really authentic. If you're feeling sick, if you're not feeling good about that moment, put it across. As long as you're knowing your flaws, as long as you can be vulnerable, not letting the other people take you for a ride, because vulnerability is a key, is the underlying subtle component of emotional intelligence. If a leader can be vulnerable, that demands a lot of uh, you know intelligent approach there. You just cannot open up your mistakes and open up your flaws, and then put yourself down there. That is not being vulnerable. You are telling, you are talking from authentic self, that hey, you know what, I have a problem, therefore I seek support, and if there is anybody who can pitch in for me for now, I'll be able to bounce back tomorrow, right? This is vulnerability. Or there could be many examples of this, but then the point here is not putting yourself down, not taking that advantage of, you know what, I am not well, so this is not the right time, and avoiding any responsibilities. That is not what we are talking about. But the key message is not to be, there should not be a pressure to be strong. It has to come innate. Risk of over optimism also. Sometimes leaders can be visionary, long-term thinkers. They lose the sight of short-term, the reality. So the juggle between optimism and realism, it's so very true that you need to maintain that balance. So you need to be proactive with short term, whereas always working for long term. Got to work reverse. You should always know where you are heading in 10 years. You should always be able to guide your team that way. Only then you can be very sure of your short term also. Okay. Who needs resilience leadership? Business leaders, team managers, entrepreneurs, and of course, homemakers. Okay. Applying resilience in business, what happens? Resilient leaders adapt to changing marketing conditions because it's so dynamic outside, especially after pandemic, where we learned one full year how to go from offline to online without any education. We were just forced to go, and then after that, the world is never the same. It's more of hybrid now, and it is only going to grow more and more. So it is always dynamically changing, and remaining focused on long-term goals is very critical for leaders, because the team members may fizzle out, they may be scattered, they may have negativity around them. It is important that the leader has to bounce back, be proactive, be in reality, be motivating, encouraging, and have optimism working for you. All these encourage resilience. All these components are subset to become a resilient leader. So during company crisis, they are going to prioritize transparency, communication, and collaborative problem solving to navigate that challenge. Because it is not, even though they are leader, it is not the only person who's burdening the entire, responsibility of the company. No, or they are not going to be shouldering the entire burden of their team. No, it is the beauty of how far the person is able to delegate and get things out of others. That is leadership. But if the person is not, the team member is suffering, if the team member is facing adversity or negativity, it is the leader who has to pitch in and shoulder it. Okay, that time when the adversity happens, when the crisis happens, the leader cannot say, you know what, I'm feeling sick, you might want to lead the show. So that is not leaders. Okay. Organization changes requires open dialogue also. Sometimes, uh, when it is crisis situations and it is high stake. So clarity on the rationale for change and empowering teams to contribute to the new direction. Both has to happen. Clarity essentially means IQ, because you have the logical thinking, you're very critical and analytical, bringing out facts and figures, trying to understand what is the real problem instead of getting overridden by your own emotions or the team emotions or the family or the company as such, or what is happening in the market. your competitors or getting the deal. You don't get run by all these thoughts. Instead, you can find out what is the real problem. That is where your left brain is going to help you, so that your right brain is taking the neutrality. Okay. All right. So, what happens with team dynamics? When you are with your team, how do you express resilience? High stress periods, when such times, it is important to maintain the morale during the tight deadlines or setbacks, providing encouragement of acknowledging the challenges, fostering a positive work environment by celebrating the small wins, by appreciating. Um, when I was in HR, our company had a beautiful policy, various policies actually. One of them is Hall of Fame, but for you to reach Hall of Fame, it's like quarterly award. Uh, it is the manager's duty to identify uh, the small wins or good behaviors. It's an appreciation email that been sent out, and it is important that we have a metrics to make sure that how far have you gone to appreciate our team members. So it is the metrics for us. So it's it's a win-win. At the same time, we are helping our team members lead their way. For their achievement, we are helping them as a stepping stones. So that's a beautiful concept of making the managers responsible for the members' success or recognition. And conflict resolution, meaning addressing the conflicts with empathy and fairness, is very, very critical. If you find yourself at fault, it is important to put your foot down and acknowledge that openly, admit it. The moment you admit, again, I said, it's not about putting ourselves down. It is this strength in us. It depicts that the courage and strength in us to handle it with grace. Suppose you don't want to admit, it just gets piled up and people can see through. And it is only going to, every moment, it is going to be a turmoil to protect that lie so that it doesn't surface anywhere. Instead, you might as well want to openly, honestly accept it, because that is going to encourage yourself, and it'll also inspire other people who are watching. Because we're not superhuman, right? We are human beings and we make mistakes. But powerful human beings are the ones who are able to admit courageously, honestly, and move on, correcting themselves so that it doesn't have to occur in future at all. And they will make sure it doesn't occur to other person also. One of the reason that we admit our mistake is for other people learnings as well, because we learn most of the time. It is smart to learn others mistakes rather than doing ourselves the mistakes and learning from it. We don't have 100 lifetimes to do that, right? Project failures during such times focus on lessons learned and boost morale. It is important to conduct postmortems to analyze and what went wrong and identify the areas of improvement. Very, very critical. That is why you're bringing your right brain there, self reflection. But there has to be a blend of your logical brain also, because there you are not blaming, you are not, you know, necessarily only solving the problem. In fact, you're bringing out solutions for future, because the current solution didn't work and the problem exists. And if you keep dwelling on the problem, it's not going to help you. It's just going to be endless arguments or conflicts. So that time it is important to keep your clarity in place, keep your mind very clear so that the future decisions are pristine, and it could be a high stake. It is very important to involve other people's point of view at that point of time without any ego. Okay. Now, some actionable tips for you. Get ready, take your pens and notes. The tips that is going to come to you, it could be the right brain or left brain. But what I'm asking essentially is, there could be many tips that we will be discussing. And there's also a podcast coming in. We'll give you a concrete steps as to how to approach your left brain and right brain for the same topic. In either case of it, all I want you to do is, in next 24 hours, make sure that whatever you have learned, you're going to implement it with your awareness and some diligence. If you're able to apply this in next 24 hours, that means your whatever you've learned will reinstate and be with you for some quite some time. And if you're able to follow through for next 7 days, it will be with you for a long time. So next 24 hours is critical, and then following by 7 days or even more critical for you to put this in place. Okay. So the first thing is emotional grounding techniques. This is for your right brain. It is important if you understood the resilience leadership skills in you, you got to do something, because it is only on application you can become that person. You are an A person now. You saw how the B person is working. And for you to travel from A to B, you need to actually either take a walk or run or jog, whatever it takes. But without that, you just by watching here, you cannot become that B person. So for you to become that version, you need to take action. So the first thing that you can look at it is emotional grounding techniques. You're going to breathe deep to reduce stress and stay calm. I know certain things are very, it's very difficult in the beginning. During the heat situation, you will not even remember. That is exactly why I told you within 24 hours, if you can bring this into your practice, it will remain with you. The wisdom will go in, is already in you by the time you practice in 24 hours. So it will definitely come out when it is needed. That is how you take any skill, practice it. It's like going to gym, make that as a learned skill, and then it becomes a pattern in you. It becomes, it might become a talent in you. Okay. Then centering, use mindfulness techniques to stay calm and present. Being present is equally important to manifest anything, any skill for that matter. And then you being centered, you're mindful within you, but your response is chaotic, or it's opposite to what you've been practicing, then it's not feasible, right? There is no need of all this learnings and practicing. So it is also important how you respond. And for you to have a better response, appropriate response, all these steps will help you. Okay. You're going to respond with clear, composed mindset. That's the aim. And having transparent communication, how can you do so? Regular updates, hold frequent team meetings with your team members to share challenges and progress so that you're prepared, you're proactive, you know that is the adversity is going to come in. You can always prevent. Preparation is 50%. Planning is half the problem solved. The same thing with family. You, as a leader in the family, as a homemaker, home runner, it is important that we all have open dialogues inside the family. When you know there is some huge change is going to come, it could be an event or some experiences happened, you need to do that critical thinking, analyze, reflect on it, and ensure you have that open dialogue even after the during the postmortem, so that the future episodes can be well prepared. Even then, you're going to hold frequent conversations, open and constantly, right, to get that review, what's happening in the current status. And being honest is also important. You're not hiding anything. You're not going to neither hide your flaws, neither the team members. There has to be open-ended, and it has to be coming from both the parties involved. And trust building. I must say, fostering an environment for trust through consistent and clear communication is equally important. Solution focused. What happens when you're problem focused? Focusing too much on problems can create only stress, and it's going to prevent the growth. Whereas if you focus on bringing solutions, talking more about solutions, you can easily find out from people's words what they use, where are they heading. When two people are conversing about a problem, you can easily identify. Check on yourself. What kind of approach do you take? Are you a solution oriented person or a problem oriented person? Mostly IQ people always stick to problems because they like problems, they're tuned to it. The right brain people always go for creativity, innovation, and solution oriented. In fact, I must say both the left brain and right brain has to work for solution focused. because it is not just about fixing problems. It is about encouraging, creativity, innovation, resilience, taking views from others, bringing win-win solutions. That is exactly a solution focused. Okay, especially when you're working at high stake jobs, responsibilities, it is important to cater or take a concern about all dimensions, all people involved, both short term, long term, present, future, and whether it's your agenda or other people's agenda in the team or the company's policies, everything has to align. Only then the future problems, the adversities can be um, curbed. Fostering team resilience. How will you do this? You're going to empower. Give team members the freedom to express their ideas and take ownership of their work. That's a classic way to delegate. If you empower, how do we do it? You encourage, you appreciate, you identify the talents in certain people. You should have this foresight to see um, the problems behind, and at the same time, you should know how to identify the high potential candidates who can handle this, and give them the ownership and appreciate when they have done their job. Even taking that responsibility has to be recognized. Make sure that they are valued, they are recognized for what they have done. That way, they are empowered. Supportive. Provide the necessary resources and guidance the team members need to grow professionally. It is equally important. Without resources, it's tough for you to become resilient, for you to become, if you don't have this thing, you end up troubleshooting all the time. So the work may not get over, neither the focus or it gets deviated and negativity kicks in. When you have the right, and it is the leader's responsibility to give that right resources to that, if you want to empower somebody with some ownership and responsibilities, it is our responsibility to ensure that their hands are full, like, you just keep their stomach full, heart full, and hands full. Only then you can see them happily working. Okay, celebrating, acknowledging, and recognizing the resilience and problem solving skills of the team, very, very important. That is why company has organization has policy like monthly awards, quarterly, annual. It is important to constantly recognize, and we don't do that at home, right? So after me attending various financial literacy programs, I came to an understanding. The money mindset itself has changed in me. We attended money related programs for quite some time, and as a family we attended when my child was less than 10. So we as a family right now aligned that celebrating our smallest wins is also important. So this one value system has come. Of course, we had other um, policies that we took when it comes to having a vibrant and positive money mindset, because if you don't grace the money, the grace won't stay with you. So there are a lot of things that we learned, but for us to become money resilient, there are some practices, very divine practices that we can all go through. One of them is um, celebrating wins. Okay, so every month, once we step out, especially for this objective. It is not anything that my daughter achieves. We make sure that we celebrate that moment on that day or the following weekend. It's the same case with me or my husband. So it is quite an acknowledgement on each other's talent and efforts. And communication, encourage open and transparent communication, fostering a culture of trust and understanding. Develop Provide opportunity for professional development and training, building resilient skills, empowering team members to face challenge. That is also important. Learning from past challenges. Of course, critical thinking is important. You need to reflect on past crises to identify successful strategies so that you prevent the future crisis. Applying lessons learned to inform current decision making, and adapting, modifying approaches based on new insights and changing circumstances. It is critical. If you're stuck with the same old patterns and habits, the same old problems will continue. Maintaining long term perspective. Short term goals acknowledge current difficulties without losing the sight of long term goals is important. And being proactive about handling the pitfalls of short term current reality is also important. Strategic vision, keeping focus on the bigger picture and overall mission. Future planning, developing strategies that address both immediate needs and future growth. Well, this is my favorite part, and this is my favorite person too. We just cannot ignore this one person when we are talking about resilience or leadership, right? Imagine Captain Cool. For people who do not know, I'm sure there'll be very few people in the world who do not know about this person called MS Dhoni. Um, was an Indian captain for World Cup when India won the World Cup the second time. This cool person, cool captain under pressure, he he's a testament for exemplary skills, not just with resilience, but of course resilience and MS Dhoni relates a lot. It's synonymous. I'll tell you how. All of us will remember the final over of World Cup, and that is where this man stood out. He used his left brain and right brain like smartly. He is a person who can maintain his cool temperament under pressure that comes innate in him. Plus, he's also strategically brilliant. He does not only know his power, his own power, he also knows his team's capability. That's the beauty of his strength. Because of that, he had given enough freedom and the trust is already built in his team. It's like everybody is coming together. It was such a beautiful example to see how such leadership will work wonders and like a magic. Everybody's superpower had come out with this one person's leadership style. So the key lessons is cool under pressure, maintaining composure even during high pressure stakes and situations, strategic decision making, make decisive choices based on the field assessment and team strength. It's very dynamic, right? uh, it- Cricket is so what do you call, they say there's a parable about cricket, right? It is like expect the unexpected always, that kind of a game. Empowering teammates is this is exactly why in fact he won that, because he knew exactly who can do this job, and he empowered that, but he encouraged that bowler. uh, I'm sure the freedom has been fostered, instilled in their teammates, and the trust and bonding was natural. Fostering confidence in the team, allowing them to perform their best is the ultimate skill for a leader, right? That's the power and that's the grace of that leader. So MS Dhoni for you guys. Balancing emotional and logical approach is his key. That is his style. So he was emotionally intelligent, working on his right brain, as well as taking strategic decisions, empathizing with his team members, managing his own emotions, as well as using data and analyzing to inform strategic choices also. Not he got to analyze not just his team members' capabilities, the ground pitch, climate, the team member, the opponent uh, talents, and the expertise of the person who's batting or bowling, whoever it is, whichever situation it is, and also his own emotions, because it's a high stake thing. Winning a World Cup is after huge amount of number of matches have been won before that, and the entire nation, entire world of Indians, wherever they are, they're expecting the World Cup come to India. And having Sachin Tendulkar at that point of time, they all want to contribute. They all want to give that World Cup as a tribute to Sachin at that point of time for that master blaster. So there was so many factors of pressure for him. But how did he gracefully conduct himself? No better example than watching MS Dhoni in that World Cup series and a lot of other matches as well. Okay. If you really like this example, give me a heart, double heart, and say you really love this and you can relate. Okay. Developing resilience through practice. It comes with practice. So it comes with self reflection, regularly assessing your reactions to stress and challenges. I'm sure all the cricketers, for this example, they constantly review, they always watch a lot of matches, they watch the other opponent, what they are doing. Accordingly, they change their approach, right? Skill building, and as well as maintaining their temperament. They don't lose control. They are not allowed, but of course, there are a lot of players who want to dramatically express their, um, you know, excitement. That all happens, but it only sustains for a shorter time. It's going to beat them up because it's a level playing ground there. And you need to be moment to moment resilient. You need to come back. It's okay. Something had happened, mistakes bound to happen, but how you come back, bounce back. I think the player, sportsman at any level, athletics or any games for that matter, or classic example of resilience. Okay, I have so many examples that we can keep on talking about resilience in our reality also, real life around us. But personalities like this is very evidently, we all love them, we have been watching them, so it is very easy to relate. Okay, developing resilience through practice, again, skill building. It's like practicing, going to gym every day to practice this. It is developing skill. You need to attend workshops, training to enhance this resilience skills. Even if you want to, like this picture depict, if you want to go for a trekking or a hiking, you need to have put that practice daily. You just cannot, uh, all of a sudden go for a hiking and you're going to take a toll. So every day you need to work on it. And that is why I have a gift for you. Just wait for a few more minutes and you will know what it is. Because I'm going to give you practical skill building programs for you. Okay. Feedback loop, seeking input from team members or from your boss or from your coach will help you drive your leadership during this crisis. Ultimately, we're talking about resilience leadership, which comes into your action, which comes into play during the crisis and adversities. Not on an everyday basis, there is no need of resilience, right? It's only when the situations are tough. That is when you need to. But then you must be practicing your resilience every day. It doesn't show. Some of us will have that innate quality. I'm not negotiating on it. But that also get shaken up depending on life's adversity. Everybody were shook during the pandemic. Am I right? Everybody, because it was so damn new. Nobody has that in their experiences yet. Such is the adversity. And yet we learned to be resilient because we got used to it and we were working on ourselves. Pandemic taught many things to us, right? And creating resilient organizational structure, culture also, having an open communication, learning opportunities. I worked with two big brands and both of them had an excellent learning culture. I had attended, my awareness expanded on a lot of habits, a lot of skills, a lot of technology because I was a long time learner and the company supported with a lot of training. And even after that, I had to quit my job for my child. Even after that, I was continuously learning and training myself. Okay. So far, by large, I've spent around 15 lakhs in learning and equipping myself only. Okay. Recognition, celebrating resilience and adaptability within the organization is also key. Resilience in leadership, digital leadership, because we are in this era of social media and technology, AI driven technology, it is important to also pay some attention to that. How do you encourage resilience in digital leadership? Because when you have your team member physically present, that is a different thing. Especially during pandemic, we had this tough thing. We even, for companies who had been used to it and then they have no clue how to manage remote, school education went online and it was chaotic, right? We didn't know how to manage. So it is important to maintain that connection and motivation in virtual environments also, so that we are not disconnected. So it's a learning thing. We're all learning to be becoming hybrid now. So we'll learn both the modes. We don't know what pandemic will, kick in again, and how it'll turn us down. But we right now, by far, entire world has become resilient to online. No matter whatever happens outside, we know how to adjust. Cybersecurity threats is becoming large. So we need to be resilient in that area. As much as we want to use this digital platform, there is always a threat. Wherever there is an opportunity, there's always a threat. So staying calm and strategic when facing such digital challenges is equally important, right? So many cases have happened where, right now it's become digital India. Back home in my country, everybody uses GPay, the phone mobile payment for each and every transaction. So it is all the more important. Our elders and everybody has to be taught as to how to protect our identity and our assets in the digital platform, so that we don't get succumbed. And there are many cases where people have lost their money, savings, long-term savings, and a lot of other negative things also happen because of this mistakes in digital platform. Digital transformation, guiding teams through technical challenges with confidence is also very, very important, because that is the weak point. Suppose somebody is not equipped, suppose I don't know how to operate Zoom. It's going to be difficult for me to achieve that goal. I'll Most of the time I'll be doing a troubleshooting, or I get fear of even coming to digital gadgets. So because if I don't have that adaptability quotient in me, that is going to be a different problem. But when I'm willing to learn and I don't have that resources on my hand, then that is a difficult challenge for an employee to demonstrate their fullest potential, right? Resilience and crisis communication. When crisis happens, resilience skills is what we're talking about. During that, how are we going to respond? Most of the response in organization, it's not a silent response, right? Of course, when we are doing within our team, maybe we'll have a different approach. But when you're at high stake, it is important that your communication is equally seen and noted. It's very critical. So, how do you make this crisis communication when such adversity happens? How do you demonstrate resilience in that? Assessing. First, quickly gather facts and understand before responding, before communicating anything, especially the PR related jobs where you represent your organization or your team member as a leader. It is very important to assess before you utter anything. You plan, develop a clear, concise message and strategy, and communicate accordingly. That is why in organization you will get into communication on emails. It's a great thing. It's a very critical thing, and they take it very seriously because email stays as a record, just like how all the digital assets stay on internet. Similarly, in company, email stays as record. Okay, that is why email writing is a very critical talent. Self-care for resilient leaders. This is exactly what I told you, where you need to handle all the four legs of a chair: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Okay, I'm offering you a gift. I've been telling you this is the gift, that for Diwali special, there is something happening. This 21 days challenge, designed, curated specifically for busy moms, will happen all throughout the year. But for this Diwali, I'm offering some um, free coupon code. Okay. But for those people who are able to jot down three top key insights, if you've been watching this video till now, you must have got some key insights. Okay. You were able to relate. If you can jot down as comments, that means it shows something that you're serious about it. You've been diligently watching and writing your learnings. One, it is going to reinstate in yourself that you're not going to forget. It is already gone in you. Second thing, it is a support for me that I see somebody is taking steps. Definitely, I'll give you a shout out and I will email you 100% free coupon code. Plus, I'm also giving you few more gifts. Just hang on. I want to tell you, this is how you're going to build. I'm going to help you build the resilience skills. It is just not talking. I will also give you actionable steps where in 21 days, you will be able to see yourself becoming either a resilient mom or a resilient leader or a resilient teenager. Okay. But this is exclusively for women alone. Future resilient leadership. What is the future of them? AI integration, using technology to enhance decision making during crisis. You need to be adaptable to AI driven technology. You just cannot say, I don't like, I get overwhelmed looking at all this. At this age, I don't want to change my software. I'm not willing to learn. I'm not willing to change. That is ruled out. Global collaboration is on the high stake now, leading diverse international teams through shared challenges. You just cannot say, okay, I'm a very conventional person and my team is very secured and safe, very private people we are. We don't want to integrate or communicate with other international people because their culture is different, my culture is different. All that is non-negotiable. Sustainability focus is also coming up high. So guiding organizations towards resilient and eco-friendly practice is the most, um, it's high stake and it's very critical right now. Even as a family, you can bring very simple exercises like carrying water bottle. This is what we do right from my child, when my child was very young. For my child health sake, I used to carry always a water bottle with me because in this country where I stay in US, I have not seen water booths. I might as well see a lot of Coke and beverages here and there, but I don't see water booths. So we need to literally ask for water, and then if they have it, they're going to give it. But beverages are plenty available. So, I adapted and saying that I will might as well want to carry the water bottle because she was very young. So I boil the water and keep it. So that practice is instilled in us even now when she's grown up. So we have this practice whenever we step out, we carry our own water bottle. We might want to fill it somewhere if it's completed, but we will carry our water bottle instead of carrying the plastic bottles. Similarly, for schools, even when I was in office, I always carry my water bottle so that I can fill it. Same way, wearing or driving for that matter, wherever we can go in cycles, even the city that we are staying in, the state, an entire state is car driven. For those places where we can fetch uh, by car only, we will have to do that. But those places where we can walk and do it, we offer ourselves by going by walk or cycling. So these can be according to your place where you live in, according to your capacity. You can always creatively think to contribute to the environment. All right. Measuring leadership resilience. What is a metric? How does the organization measure the resilient leadership? So the team morale, how regular surveys and feedback sessions are happening within a team. That shows the team is constantly evolving and they are getting geared up for any challenges. And the leaders are open to take feedback and change what is required, right? Decision quality, outcome analysis of crisis decisions will determine the quality decision because they are very quick to adapt. They are very proactive to understand the current challenges and also the future oriented. And their decisions are not just involving one person's, it also involves team and organization level. You see, that's how it goes expansive. Adaptability, their speed and effectiveness of strategy shifts is extremely really good, that no matter what challenges comes, because they are already prepared, they are very proactive because they constantly take reviews, they have open communication. Boss, this doesn't seem to be working, and then the leader will ask, okay, tell me the facts and figures, why do you think it's not working? This is empowering the team member, and the team member takes ownership to present a case study. you know he brings up his own quality of being a presenter or doing a fact check before whatever he wants to admit to the team, and the entire team encourages for each one of their contribution, and as a team they move forward. You see, it is a collaborative approach. So their adaptability towards any challenges, their entire team will be seen exclusive because of this one leadership style. And for you to know whether do you really stand, what kind of leadership do you have? Do you really have this resilience in you? Do you want to demonstrate resilience in your work style at your place? If you want to seriously look at it, don't worry, I have given you the bundles of quizzes for all the skill set. And for this topic also, you will find a questionnaire there. It's going to be totally personalized, a summary for you. So after you submit answers, while you're going through the questions, you will find a lot of insights. And doesn't matter if you've answered wrongly. It's anyway not being shown to everybody. So it is your learning. You will come to know what is the right answer, and thereby you can quickly change your approach. Okay. Similarly, similar to this topic, there are previous days topic related quizzes are also given there for free access to you. If only you're able to put your 3 key learnings as insights in the comments, you are going to get 100% free access and lifetime, which means I will be adding more quizzes till it hit 100 numbers. Whether it is from EQ or digital entrepreneurships, I'm going to be combining. So 30, 40 skills of EQ, whatever we are talking, will definitely be part of it. And rest of it will be on the money quotient as well. Okay. So I just want to give you a summary of what gifts am I going to give it to you, because you've been here till this time. You've listened to it, this podcast or video so far. So I'm going to be giving it to you practical steps to bring resilience in your life. So the very first gift is, let's go from the reverse, okay? The awareness quiz. We just spoke about it. It is available for you to access. And then the 21 days challenge. So this is going to be opening from November 1st, because this month, every month first, it gets open and it goes till 21 days. Okay. And there is a link given where you can see what, busy moms like you and me have done. How did they feel when they went through this course? What was their before, during, and after experiences? There are videos, there are pictures that you can understand. And jump in, it's a very closed environment. You are not only learning and growing, it is also sharing. You will find a lot of people working there, and it's a very small group. It'll grow. We are going to be playing a long-term goal. It is not a short-term thing. Only for this series, I'm not doing that games. The challenges will remain in my community forever. As long as it is helping other people, I will be posting a lot of challenges like this for busy moms. And the last one is to invite you for free masterclass where I will be opening up brain profiles report, and I will tell you a preview of what I've been talking about left brain and right brain in a person by reports, through the way of demonstrating through reports, psychometric reports. It's a sample report, but if you insist, if you want to take one of the reports for yourself to understand where you stand in terms of resilience or emotional insight or future talents that we have been talking about, we will be talking about. So those will be displayed as your top 6 talents in your own brain profile, because this is the feedback from you to you. I will not be filling the questionnaire for you to, generate this report. You will be filling it. So it is your own feedback. And I will be helping you interpret this report. And these reports can be taken every 6 months one, because that is when you allow the brain to rewire, which means you should have been working on it on daily, all these skills. Not necessarily everything, whatever is your area of improvement. Some skills or talents could be your top, your strength already. So use that strength to work on those talents where you think you need an improvement. That's all it is. So I will be explaining to you how does EQ brain skills is going to give you the necessary clarity, consistency, and contribution to yourself and your family and community. If you want to learn the secrets to it, come and attend that. It happening every Sundays, only for women. All right. But if you want to win all this, you're going to share and win that offer by sharing 3 key learnings of what you've learned from this episode. Okay. And then I will pick up the winner and I will give you a shout out and email the free coupon for you. Okay. Until I see you tomorrow.